What's going on, ladies and gents? Your boy FGC Gama, and I'm here with none other than Z. How's it going, Z? How you doing, man?
Terrific. We're in the middle of a broadcast. The energy is live. Daigo is descended from the heavens of Japan to vanquish all the American gaijin. He's looking real spicy today. I'm looking forward to his performance.
Absolutely, man. And we don't have a lot of time, so I do want to thank you for sitting down and talking with us. You're one of the guys that bring a lot of energy to the FGC. You know, I sit home. I'm based out here in Atlanta. I don't get to travel a lot, so the commentary that you provide adds just the right amount of seasoning to that recipe of a disaster, if you want to call it that, you know, with the stream monsters and we watch it. So getting into that really quickly, man, what kind of got you into the world of commentating? How did that happen?
I've told this story a few times. Basically, Xian, the player from Singapore, he beat me. You were playing privately. This was in Street Fighter 4. He beat me like 20-0. But the nature of the loss was so convincing that any aspirations I had as a player were immediately destroyed. And I needed to find something else. Because you think of yourself as like an established player and I'm going to win this tournament, but then you meet like a greater force and they just decimate all your hopes. And that's when I really decided, well, I want to be involved in the FGC. I'm obviously not good as a player, I've met like this ultra talented person. What can I do to contribute to the scene? And it just so happened that a lot of tournaments in Asia did not have coverage in English, and I did that for a while, and it turned into like a little side gig.
Wow, amazing. And thank you, Xian, for doing that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have him in this amazing
he knows the story, He doesn't talk. I mean, maybe to him it was nothing, but...
Right. It was just another day in the office, probably, right?
For him.
Right. Now, speaking of that, this ELEAGUE thing is certainly not another day in the office. I was speaking to Christine and a few other people about how the FGC is a little apprehensive, right? When it comes to new ventures and companies. And I'm sure you know the history of different establishments trying to get their hands in. What makes ELEAGUE different in your opinion? Why does it seem like we are starting to come around and embrace ELEAGUE?
Well, the departure from what ELEAGUE brings to the table, the resources and the talent, is a league beyond. So it's just like, as a player, the difference between me and Xian. Like the production here is just as enormous. However, they filled in that gap by bringing in local talent, by relying on FGC expertise. I mean, on the desk, you got Alex Valle, right? They didn't bring in CSGO casters. They brought in people from the community. And that willingness to be humble and say, we're Turner. We've got like crazy production. But at the same time, to lend itself to more authenticity, we need ambassadors of the game to really bridge esports and FGC. And I think in the cases where that's failed, people have tried to jump the ship and did it their way without really addressing our needs and relying on the community.
Absolutely, man. I concur, and take notes, guys. I think you hit it right on the nail. So now, when it comes to the FGC, right, you've been a part of it for years, and I'm assuming that you probably was a part of it way before you came on the forefront. Where do you think it is now? Like, are you satisfied with it, and where would you hope for it to be maybe in the next 5 years?
It's in a terrific place right now. If you look at our trajectory in terms of viewership, in terms of production, it's just ramped up like this, right? Like an exponential curve. So the big boom, if you will, would be from Street Fighter 4. And that brought in a lot of people. And now we've got those eyeballs. We've done ESPN. Now we're on, cable television. And it's only going to have a snowball effect to get bigger and bigger as more people watch it, non-endemic crowds, and be like, hey, what's going on here, right? And it's our job as players, as casters, as talent, to really project that type of powerful energy that we know in the FGC. And it has to be instantaneous, because that conversion, if someone is totally out of the FGC, right, they're just scrolling through and they just happen to catch TBS broadcast, you have about 5-10 seconds to convert them before they flip on to the next channel, right? There's so much good content out there. They could just go on to Netflix. So we need to maintain that high level of energy to get all these non-endemic people. I think in the next 5 years, if Marvel brings it, which I know that it will, because it's not only Capcom, right? It's not only Sony, it's not only Twitch, but you got the big boys involved. You got the Disneys, right? You got the Marvel comics. That's when I think things get super exciting, because they know no bounds, right? And they're pros at marketing. Look at what they did with, the Star Wars franchise, right? So we're loosely affiliated with that. Whether or not those sides of the business units talk to one another remains to be seen. But like the potential is there is no cap. Yeah, I'm super excited.
You're right, man. I mean, I only go to the movies to see Marvel movies.
Right.
So
There's
you're right.
How many people are there?
They took over the world. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I would actually like to see, instead of being at, I last saw you at Final Round.
Yeah.
And we'll always have those homegrown tournaments, but what if through Marvel we can expand into like the Comic-Con crowd, the MomoCon crowd? And I know we do that, and we do some activations. Capcom always has some news announcements, but what if we could really infiltrate that scene? I think that's how we grow the pie instead of what we have right now.
Absolutely, man. Excellent answer. And I know you're pressed for time, so one more question, man. 30 years, Street Fighter, 30th year anniversary. And I'm not going to ask you how old you are. I'm going to assume you're an 80s baby like most of us. But you've probably been around at least for Street Fighter 2. So what does Street Fighter mean to you? What has it done for Z personally? Share a Street Fighter story that you may have not put out there yet. We'd like to know.
For a lot of people, it is that piece of childhood that you can still relate to now. And so my other hobby is sneaker collecting. And, Nike is all about throwing out those retros, and there's something about seeing something in your childhood that activates that inner fanboy, that inner collector in you, right? In my case, I couldn't afford a lot of shoes when I was younger, or my parents are like too cheap. They're like, no, that's too expensive, right? You have to wear like the cheap little kids,
right?
And now
my parents knew your parents, but
now I got a little allowance in the pocket, and so I want to go out and get it, and that's what Street Fighter is for video games, something that really speaks to your soul, that's been deeply embedded in your DNA. And when we hit those right chords, and there's enough nostalgia and of course new elements for this production, I think we're really going to awaken a lot of people that forgot about Street Fighter. They grew up with it. Real life happened. They went to school. They got a job. They got married. What have you? But it's really going to. Yeah, exactly, right? It's going to bring it back, and there's so much latent potential in there. And again, a lot of it hinges, in my belief, on how the Marvel franchise does, because if you've seen what Marvel has done, right? We used to be all comic collectors, and now we're watching the movies, and now we're consuming some of the video games. So it's all where you launch off of that, but there's so much currency that Marvel and Street Fighter has built up in our childhoods that's just waiting to be unlocked.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, Z.
No problem.
I know you're going to be around for the next few weeks, so hopefully I'll get a chance to sit down with you. Maybe pick your brain.
What is this called? What is this thing called?
Oh, a mic flag. Yeah, I had a lot of people say, what in the world is this?
I can't believe you made this. This is amazing. You even got the little clown nose. But
I try.
This is just beautiful stuff.
You know that story he told about, with Sian? I had the same experience, and that's what happened, and now I'm doing interviews, basically.
Nice.
We're like the best kid on the block, the best kid in our town, so we go to a major, and then we get decimated. We're like, oh, maybe I can do something else to contribute.
Inspiration comes from everywhere, right? Absolutely. And sometimes you need to have some dreams beaten out of you so that you can go for what the Lord's calling is. And I'm not sure if this is it for me, but we all have a mission in life, and for now I really want to bring Street Fighter to the masses, so here I am.
You've been doing an amazing job at that.
Very much.
Thank you so much, Z, one of the wittiest commentators in the FGC. Your boy David Gama signing out, FGC News.